Reusse Unchained, and we have a little juicy baseball report here. I almost said rumor, but I feel like Bob Nightingale deserves a better word than rumor here.
Yes.
Credible Bob Nightingale. So he says an hour ago on Twitter, Pat, Minnesota Twins shortstop Carlos Correa, who is drawing interest from the Astros for a potential reunion, is out of the Twins lineup today, but he notes that he left the game last night feeling lightheaded with a migraine. So
Migraine, yes.
that could also have been, I don't know, not to be conspiracy theorist here. It could have just been, hey, this is rumbling last night. Let's get him out of
Yes.
the lineup.
If we have a chance to get rid of him, let's not get him hurt. Is maybe what
Yeah.
we don't want him pulling a hamstring. If Carlos goes to Houston, you have to pay half, I would guess, right? You have to pick up half of it at least.
I mean, if
Yeah.
that'd be a bargain. If you could pick up, it's already a sunk cost. So if you could
Yes.
pick up half, get a little prospect or something,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
open up some space for your young middle infielders that are pushing through the system.
And you're going to get their 32nd rated prospect, right? They're not going to dump out the farm system for this guy, but yeah, I think it would be Pena's hurt. The third baseman's out for the year, right? Did I read
Pretty
that?
much.
So so they could, they get Pena back. They can put Carlos at third. Everybody gives him cheers, and you got him. He's still got something left, and he's what, 3 years? But there's 3 more years, right? 3 more years on this. So
After this, 3 more, right? I
yeah,
think so.
yeah, that's what I mean. After this, and he's making 35. So let's say Houston's paying 18, 18, and 18. That's 54 million for bringing Carlos back and maybe winning another world. Maybe having him help win another. I don't know. It's probably doable. Is there some wily veteran that they want to give you that an outfielder or somebody that they want to move back to you that you'd have to take to for a year or two? It would be a fairly complicated deal, but I'm sure, despite all the nice things he's said about Minnesota and being a great PR guy that he isn't home still Houston? Don't they still have their home down
Yes.
there?
He resides there in the off season. He runs camps down there. Yes, of all places for him to wave it, I think we threw out the idea a couple months ago. It's number one. He'd go back to Houston.
He'd run out to second base and wave it. He'd hold the paper up and sign it. So there's no doubt about that. Plus, then when you're with the Astros and they're booing, it's not necessarily you. They're booing everybody. It's not just you getting booed in every ballpark. But I think it's great. But Phil, I was wondering, when's the last time they really dumped everybody at the trading deadline? I was trying to remember when they just said, "Who do you want?" And it seems like we're on the cusp of that. There's big Duran rumors. If Duran goes, I've been convinced Jackson's going. If they blow your doors off, when is there going to be a better time to trade Joe Ryan? The Dodgers need starting pitching terrible. The Yankees are terrible, giving up more runs than any team in baseball. Now, if I was Joe, I wouldn't want to go to the Yankees and try to pitch in that bandbox. But I don't want to get rid of him. I think he's a great personality. He's a great leader of the staff. But if you're gonna dump, if you're gonna become the White Sox, then move him and be right. Be right about the guys you're getting. That's the big problem, right? You have to. Okay, the Dodgers give you 4 guys. 2 of them better be stars in the making, right?
But don't you think it's complicated? And I'm trying to figure out in which direction is it complicated that there is this ownership thing lingering over, and also Derek Falvey, who is the head of baseball ops, but also the head of business ops, and also trying to show his value for a new ownership group at some point. how would you behave at the trade deadline with all of those things floating over your head is what I'm trying to
I
parse
am
apart.
convinced that somebody who's going to pay 1.8 billion for a franchise doesn't care if you win 65 games or 90. I don't think they care what they're getting. They just want to have the franchise, put their own imprint on it. And I kind of wrote about this today. I would guess that when you look across the plaza, Ethan Casson and Tanky, they did a pretty great job, right? They were pretty great, and yet they knew they had to go, right? They
Mhm.
both have landed jobs. I mean, new owners come in, they might, they'd already, like with the Timberwolves, they'd already been involved in Connolly, so they're not going to do anything to the basketball operation, but the business people don't spend a $2 billion for something and then inherit the people that are running it anyway. So I
Yeah.
don't. I think Falvey is. I don't know where would he be getting. Where would he be getting the orders to unload everybody? I don't know. That would have to be maybe him making his own decision there.
I think
Don't
so.
you?
I think at this point, if you're the poll ads, does
You
anything
don't
that you
care.
do in the next 48 hours impact whether the franchise goes for 1.6 or 1.8 billion?
Mhm.
Probably not, right?
No. Listen, the happiest day of the Polad's life in the last 6 weeks was when the Tampa Bay Rays sold for 1.7 billion
Yeah.
without a stadium and without a fan base, and they're getting 1.7 billion because it's a major league
No
franchise.
stadium, no fan
No,
base, no
yes,
no long-term TV deals. Like there's
no.
no revenue attached at all to the Rays, and they still went
And
for.
by the way, though, but anybody who's buying in right now also knows 2027 lockout 100%.
Yeah.
When you got Bryce Harper screaming at the commissioner in the clubhouse. Now, I was talking to somebody yesterday. Manfred's big plan, and I don't know if he'll pull it off. Not only some kind of a salary cap, but uh, sharing regional TV, sharing all TV revenue like the NFL does. So then you got to get the Dodgers or the Yankees and the Mets. You might have to. You can't share. You won't share it equally, like they do in the NFL. But to get, to balance out the TV revenue, because right now the books of the Twins have to look worse than they've ever looked, right? Because
Yeah.
they've gone from $50 million a year in regional TV money to $4.50.
Yep. So
So
attendance at its lowest point, TV revenue at its lowest point in a long time,
yes,
and yeah, it's 100%.
and yet somebody's gonna come and pay to be in here. And now somebody told me that the lead investor is from California, if that they
Hmm.
have, but he said, please don't say that he's from California. Well, to me, that doesn't really narrow it down, you know, because California's got a lot of people in it, and
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
people with a lot of money
that's all
in
right.
it. So I don't think saying he's from California is going to say, oh, that's Bill, So yeah,
Billionaire Bob, that guy. That's
yeah.
right.
Oh my,
Yes.
we just gave it away. How'd we give it away there? So anyway, but it's going to be a wild Thursday, that's for sure. But also, isn't that inkling in the back that these are the Twins, and when it's over, you're going to get Jamie Garcia, and then you're going to trade him a week later or something. I mean, isn't that put him on waivers a week later? Don't you have a feeling when push comes to shove, all the anticipation will lead to not that much?
That's generally what has
Hmm.
happened. By the way, as we're sitting here talking to each other, John Heyman just tweeted that the Duran market is heating up,
Yes,
might be the best of a superb group of available relievers, and he puts out his stats. So these guys are they're all getting little morsels of information.
yes,
And like to me, he's tweeting that because someone told him that something might be close,
yes.
so it's
Well,
interesting.
but yesterday during the game, Duran was noted hugging somebody out in the bullpen. Well, it was his buddy bullpen catcher, but it became he's saying goodbye. He got traded. It became, he's hugging people goodbye.
We were on the group text thread last night trying to figure out with Declan and Judd, like, okay, is he gone? This is what would happen if he's gone.
No, he's greeting a friend of his. But yeah, I think he's more likely to go than Jax, don't you? I think
he's 3 years younger though.
He's 3 years younger. He'll get more, but also, he's one of those 100-mile-an-hour guys that you worry about the arm too, right? So, what is astounding about this guy is, he had 1 year he didn't pitch, and the next year he pitched like 17 innings or something like that, and then he came back and he's been this. I mean, he's fantastic. There's no doubt about it. And if you're the Dodgers, now one problem with the Dodgers is they don't have a loaded farm system anymore. When you look at their prospects, they've traded and something. I mean, the Dodgers have good players, but that's the team that's got to get him, right? When you look at that bullpen, it's awful. So
yeah, go get them both. Would both of them be available for the right if you put them together,
sure.
Jackson, Duran, and say you give us 3 of your top 15 organizational prospects?
I'm sure. By the way, I hope our manager is properly embarrassed for walking Ohtani as the winning run the other day. Did you see last night?
0 for 5, 4 strikeouts.
Four straight strikeouts.
Yeah.
Didn't swing. Hasn't swung at a strike yet. They were waving at everything, but we're afraid to let Jax go strike him out chasing pitches. So anyway, yeah, it's but if if they make a bunch of trades tomorrow, then there'll be some. I mean, the attendance won't be good and the standings won't be good, but there'll be curiosity about what they got.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
If they don't do much tomorrow, then there's no curiosity left. It's the season's over, right? So. Anyway.
Did we talk about the Derek Falvey quote that came out a few days ago? Did we talk about this?
If you check out my column today, the bottom of the column is that the new owner is not going to stand for googly
gobbledygook
like this. I can't even say it. Gobbledygook like this. He's going to want English. That one quote that everybody sent out was the goofiest thing I've ever seen.
I want to read it for people that might not know what we're talking about. The job is to evaluate what comes our way and navigate in any direction possible. We still feel like there's talent on the roster. I've never considered a label on what we do here, and that's going to be our deadline every year. Quite frankly, I've never pivoted from that. Pivoted from what?
Yeah, right. You didn't tell us. Yeah, we didn't know. What was the starting point of this before we pivoted? I know. I couldn't have. He was terrible, quote-wise, when he started, right? But
that's why Thad Levine did all the talking.
He had to bail him out. He had Thad to bail him out. But then he kind of loosened up for, 4 or 5 years. Now Thad left. And the day he tried to explain why Thad was leaving, because his contract ran out and you didn't renew him, he didn't have the guts to say that. Yeah. And he started babbling, and he hasn't stopped babbling since.
No.
He's back to the Falvey who started off as a young guy in 2016. And we all remember the first press conference when Sid confronts them and says, what makes you guys think you're smarter than Terry? You remember that?
Yeah. Oh, man, that was super uncomfortable.
Terry, smarter than Terry Ryan, 2 guys you never played, blah, blah, blah. And Falvey gives some, is rattled and gives some goofy answer. And Levine says, "Sir, I'm just as offended by that as you are, but we're going to try to do our best," or something. And, it just showed how much sharper quote-wise and on his feet Levine was than Falvey. I'm not saying he's a better baseball man, but he was I've only seen him on the MLB Network a couple of times. Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he actually, we swapped emails a couple weeks ago, and he has I think it's the former Phoenix Suns general manager, and him started a new podcast a few months ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I know that he's also been, even when he was still working with the Twins, involved on the board of some other businesses in town and like outside of sports.
Has
But
he left
he
here,
still
by
lives
the way?
he
Does he
lives in
still live
town.
here? Oh,
Lives in
really?
town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always liked him. He was.
In fact, if new owners came in and
Yeah,
said, "You know
right.
what? We're gonna start over here," you could do a lot worse than hiring Thad Levine to
Yes.
run one of your big departments.
Well, yeah, and to be your public spokesman would be, he would be. I'm not sure as far as running the day-to-day operation of business and stuff but he would be a better front man than Falvey as far as having
Yeah.
both jobs. I tried to get some to explain to me yesterday why they made him president of both, and I nobody could really. I mean I couldn't interpret what they were saying.
I
Saving
think it's
money.
probably a little cheaper to have one person overseeing that with a raise versus two people at top of the market. I don't know. That's, as you're trying to right size your business these last couple of years, that would make
Who
some
would have
sense.
ever guessed 5-6 years ago that the Timberwolves would be the new owners of the Timberwolves would be buying a much smoother operation
I know.
than who's ever going to buy the Twins is going to have a lot of work to do. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
And also, like, if Alex and Mark, and it sounds like they've got ideas for who they might hire, but it's like, you could do a lot worse than hiring Dave St. Peter to be a consultant for filling out your business operations. You know?
Yes, that's right. But one, you know, thing we got going here is what the hell are they going to do about regional TV? It's I mean that's just this was base. I guess we've talked about this. But what was baseball's number one asset for television? Inventory.
Mhm.
You know, and the big advantage they had on anybody else was always, individual games weren't worth a lot of money, but 150 of them on your network certainly were, and now that's not worth anything either.
Don't you think it has to go? This is probably a longer conversation for another day, but doesn't it have to go from it's instead of 30 local TV businesses, that it
Yes.
needs to be at some point 30 teams banded together, or maybe 24 teams and the six big ones with their own networks operate on their own. But let's call it 24 teams banded together, and one big streaming platform writes a check for it.
Yeah,
That you get all of this inventory, Amazon.
That's what's with all the outlet, with all the outlets there are now. There's somebody to go to do business with, Amazon or somebody like that. But that's what Manfred has in mind. But and the guy I talked to yesterday said the Yankees might even be in on that, willing to participate. But the monster that doesn't want to mess with anybody else is the Dodgers.
Yeah,
they want.
but that's fine. Okay, you guys do your own thing over
But
here.
next time you give a guy $70 million a year, we're not going to let you pay tax on luxury tax on 2 million of that. We're going to just,
Yeah.
that still makes me mad because what could Manfred do about it? He could tell them they can't do that. That's what he can tell them. Take me to court.
Yeah.
Because we're going to charge you luxury tax for $70 million now, right
Yeah.
now. But
And back to the streaming platform thing. Wouldn't it be, as baseball tries to figure out how do we just like tell people where to find our product, period? Wouldn't it be a lot cleaner if they signed a deal and like 90 to 95% of all games were on Netflix, or it's
Yes.
MLB on Amazon, MLB on Netflix.
Yes.
If you're wondering
Yeah,
where the
one or
game
the
is,
other.
it's on
Yeah.
Netflix tonight.
And by the way, they talk about, well, what about us old people who aren't, let's face it, old people, nobody cares about us. They don't care if we're watching or not because we're cheap bastards. We don't go out and buy stuff. We don't go to the bar and spend $1 million in restaurants. We're cheap and they don't care about us. And if we can't find it, tough bananas. Who
But you know what?
cares?
That's why they give you old people the Amazon and the Netflix button on your remote
Yes.
control, right?
Boom.
You just
Yeah.
push the Netflix button.
Mine doesn't have it anymore, but yes, the button, the old button, you did have the three things you could do. But you're right, they're gonna have to. But I think we're gonna come out of the NHL style lockout in 2027 with a vastly different business model with Major League Baseball. So
Yeah, I think
anyway,
you are probably right. Yeah.
and you know what? I hate to say this, but the if we can limit the challenge system so that it's not endless, if you're right. I watching the All Star game. I think I'm okay with you can challenge 5 pitches, but
Yeah.
yeah, and you know if you're wrong on how about it cost you $10,000, your team $10,000 a challenge, okay? And if you're right, then it doesn't cost you anything. If
Okay.
you're wrong, it costs you the team $50,000. So that's
And you got to come up with if you're out of challenges and a player throws his hand up, that's 10 grand.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, if he forgets.
If he Chris Webber's it, yeah.
Yes, it is. It doesn't take long, that's sure. But the fact that it's just that is it's going to be interesting when they change the box to fit the size of the player. That's still what they have to come up with doing. But anyway, it's going to be fun tomorrow. But then again, if it's not fun, then we can rip the Twins again for doing nothing. So.
It'll be great. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, we'll see what happens and we'll catch up again Friday, Pat.
By the way, Declan, they called up a guy today that I had never heard of, Noah Davis. Who is Noah Davis?
Some slappy that
get him a
bounced.
week ago or something.
Yeah, they traded for him right before the deadline, I think, from the Dodgers and Rockies. He's Joey Wentz like, so you'll love him.
Oh, good, Joey Wentz. Yeah, my Jorge Alcala hasn't been doing me well here with the Red Sox in this series. As I said it's an easy fix for Jorge. All he needs is a frontal lobotomy. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. All right. See you guys.
All right. See you, Pat.
Bye.
Reusse
Bye.
Unchained on Score North.